Hi guys, and welcome in the next video. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about a different topic, and today I wanted to talk about how to handle your files from your projects, from your robot backups and so on. So how to organize your file system in order for you to help you later on your future projects or on something that you're working currently right now. Ready? Let's get started.
5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Alright, so why I wanted to talk about organizing your files, guys. I know that you're waiting for the new videos on programming. That's why I also created a poll in my channel section, so you can give me an idea of what robot do you work with, so I know what you might be interested in. So if you want to help me out and tell me a little bit more about what you do, I will link it down in the description so you can click on it and vote so I know what videos you might be interested in. Anyway, let's go back to our topic. So why I wanted to talk about the file organization on your hard drives. It's because, guys, when I started programming in 2011, so quite a while ago, there wasn't really any YouTube videos, there wasn't any online help that will help the programmers to solve their issues. So whatever you got, guys, it was on your hard drive and you were the only one having that information, and you went to a new project, that was your base of knowledge, and you needed to have it like really nicely organized in order for you to find the information that you needed quickly. Of course, back then I wasn't having a lot of information, so I was kind of gathering stuff around, having everything like thrown in one folder, and it was kind of a headache for me later on to be efficient in searching for information. And it helps me nowadays as well, even though 10 years later, there are some things that you want to look up because you just don't remember it. You want to make sure you're programming it in the right way. So maybe there was a project that you work on where you were using this type of information, or maybe you have a manual that contains that information and you want to know how to find it. So today I'm going to share with you my file structure. How does it look on my hard drive? How do I organize my files so it's easy for me to find the information that I need. Of course, it's just my personal way of sorting out things. You might have other. It would be great if you share it down in the comments so others can see how you're doing it. But let's get into it. So first of all, guys, the tip I'm going to give you, which is very useful for me at least, is how do you structure your backups that you do. Doesn't matter if those are going to be the backups of PLCs, of your robot application that you're using. Whatever you do, I highly recommend you to sort it in the year, month, date structure. That means first you'll put the year, then you're going to put the month, and then the date. I know depending where you live, if it's Europe, Asia, US, you're going to structure it like day, month, year, or maybe month, day, year. But the most common and the best for you is going to be year, month, and date. That's because your files are going to be always organized and your backups are going to be always from the oldest to the youngest, or depending how you set the sorting, from the youngest to the oldest. This is very important because if you want to go back to some backup, this will be the fastest way of just going back through the dates. Also, what's important, I'm going to show you how do I structure this, is whenever you make a backups for a certain robot, it's more work for you at the beginning, but it's a perfect solution later on. Always try to put the robot name, and inside the robot name, make those files with the dates. So it's easy for you to find the latest or oldest backup from a certain robot. How I used to do it for a long time, and I still do it and sort it out later, is I will put a date when I make the backups. I'll throw all of the backups in there, and then I have the date with the backups. But what use does it have if, let's say, you want to search a backup of robot 5, and on that date you didn't make the backup of robot 5, but you made it like a few weeks or a month earlier. So then you gotta sort throughout all of the folders to find the latest backup. Of course, you can use the search function, but again, if you had that robot 4 or robot 5 in a folder, and inside that folder you will have all of the backups sorted by date, fairly simple how to find it. Also, I know that some of you are working just in one place, so you might not have many projects. Others are contractors and you travel a lot, like I did. So I have also a file structure for that, as well as for the different robot types. So let's jump to my file structure so I can show it to you how does it look like, how does it work, and how I use it every day. Let's go to the exercises. Alright guys, and welcome to the exercises. So today I wanted to show you a little bit of how I structure my folders so it's easier for me to find the things that I need later on. So I have a basic structure of 3 folders, and I do add some folders in here that I'm not going to show you because they are just not that video related. So I have 3 main things, where one is going to be your company stuff. So if you have any documents that you would like to hold, that's let's say there are some instructions, manuals, or whatever that your company gives you, you want to use your first folder for that. So let's say if you work for a big company, say Volkswagen, you'll put Volkswagen here, and you're going to keep all of your files related to your work in here and related to your employer. I also see, you guys see that I also name the files with the number at the end, so the files will always be in the same structure. And for me, it's clear to remember, like, let's say number 3 are going to be always the project, number 2 is always the work stuff. So they don't get lost in transition if you add new folders in here, because let's say if you add a new folder in here and you're going to name it something else, and you won't keep the file number in here, it will just shift at the very beginning, and we don't want that, as it's not convenient. So that's why I keep those files like this. Okay, let me delete this one. Then I have my work stuff in here. So when you go in here, as you can see, there are many things in here. So I did sort it out in the way that I have the everything connected with the robot in my first folder. Then any software that I would use for work will be in the second. So a good example of software that I use will be Notepad++. So I will keep the install in there. Any plugins that I use will be stored in there. Then I have a standards folder where I keep all of the standards that I work with. So I have the documentations and stuff connected with it in one place, so I don't need to search for files later on. Then I have an other folder. If there is anything I would like to keep in there, I don't know, maybe some pictures, maybe some videos, or whatever else I got that is kind of work related, but there is really no place to put it, I'll store it in there. Then I have my software. So if I'm going to create something, let's say some Carol programs or some C programs or whatever else I need, that is basically that I built, I'll put it in there. Then there is a PLC folder. So if I do not work with PLC in general, but sometimes I'll make a backups because somebody asked me, or I'm going to have some documentations for it, why not just keep it in there so you have it for future reference, because you never know, maybe one day you're going to work with the PLCs, or you work with the PLCs currently. And the last thing I have is like a applications folder. So I'll store all of the documentation, backups, and whatever else for the applications in this folder. Okay, so let me show you what's inside the folders. So let's open the robot folder. As you can see, I will put all of the robots that I work with in one folder, and the names will be here. And inside of each of these folders, I have a structure to keep separate data regarding that robot. So let's open the FANUC, as we do most of the FANUC videos. As you can see, I have 5 folders in there, where I have the manuals, the software, backups, useful programs, and the other folder. So of course, in the manuals section, I'm going to keep all of the manuals that I gather throughout my career, and everything that has to do something with the FANUC, and in the manual it will be stored in that folder. Second one is the software. So any software I will get for the FANUC robot or any other robot, I'll put in there, so I have it always on hand. It's easy for me to find it, and it will be pretty common later on to like install it if I move to a different laptop or whatever else. Then I have the backups folder. So if there are any interesting FANUC backups that I would like to keep for myself later on, I will keep them in there. Good example of a nice backup will be, let's say, a robot that has 8 or 9 axes, or like a robot that has a gripper that has a servo clamps on it. So that's an interesting backup. I'll put it in there so I have it for the reference later on. Useful programs, if there are any programs that I written or I got, especially for FANUC, so I will keep them in there. For example, a good program that I used before, but I don't use anymore because the FANUC has an option of it right now, would be a program to catch the axis limits so I can install the hard stop. So I will have a program that I will put in the background. It will run, and after like few days of the robot running, I could get a good idea of the plus and minus values for each axis, and this way I will know where to put my hard stop on the robot. And other, like always, I will keep any stuff that's connected with that robot, but doesn't necessarily fit in any of the previous folders. I will throw it in there. So as you go back to your work folder, software, that will be just the software I'll put in there. Like I told you guys, Notepad++. Then when you go to standards, I would have all of the standards that I work with in here. So when I go back to the project, it's easy for me to find whatever I need. So whenever you are on a project, just keep it in here. It's easy for you to go back, select whatever you need, and use it as your work. Okay. Then when you go back, other I told you about. Then when you go to PLC, for example, so I would have in here is pretty much same structure as I had for the robots. So I will have all of the PLC that I work with. When you open it, it's going to be basically the same thing as in the robot folder, so the same file structure. So it's easy for you to remember, it's easy for you to get stuff back. Okay. In the applications folder, I have nothing in here, but if you work with some application, you want to make a new folder and you want to name it. Let's say you do number 1 and you do spot welding. And inside of that application, you're going to put everything that's connected with the spot welding. I highly recommend for you guys, if you work with different suppliers, to make separate folders for each supplier. So let's say I work with Bosch, I will put Bosch in here. Then I work also with Harms and Wende, so I will put Harms and Wende in here. And whatever else, whatever supplier you work with, make a separate folder for it, put the stuff that it's connected with that supplier so you can easily jump back to it. Let's say I haven't worked with Harms and Wende for like 3 or 4 years, but then I jump on a project where they use it. Okay, I just simply go back to my work folder, application, spot welding. I will have all of the documentation in hand. I don't need to search through internet. I don't need to ask anybody. Everything will be ready, guys, for you in that folder. And the last folder that I use is the project folder. So basically, how the project folder looks like, it will depend on you. But how I would do it usually is in here, I'm going to create a project name that I will know. So that will be either the location, I usually use the location that I have the project on, or I will use the location and then the project name. So this way I will remember what project was it, I remember what I was working on, what type of robots they used, and so on and so on and so on. So as an example, let's create a new folder. And you're going to name it. I do not use numbering in here as it doesn't matter because the project can change. So you can do, let's say, Berlin. And if you work on a project in Berlin, you will go in here and you can structure the folders however you want. What I do usually, I will have the folder number 1 called documentation. And I will keep all of the documentation in that folder. Then I will have the second folder called robots, and I'm going to keep everything that's connected with the robots. So now the robots folder in here, how it works, I will open it and I will create, if there are multiple robots that I work with, sometimes I've been on a project where I work with KUKA and FANUC at the same time, I will create the 2 folders in here. and I will simply copy the stuff that I had in here. So if I know I'm going to work with two robots, let's say with KUKA and FANUC, I'll just copy those folders. I'll go in here, I paste it, and then whatever is in here, I'll just dump it in. So this way, later on when the project will be finished, what I'll do, I'll copy everything except for the backup folders, because I want to keep the backups unique for each project so I can go back to them. I don't want to put unnecessary backups to my main robots folder. I'll copy that. So I'll cut all of these folders. I'll go back to my work folder, to the robot. Oh shoot, I forget. I think I copied the KUKA. Let me take a look. So one more time, let's copy the FANUC stuff. I forgot which robot I copied. So I'll cut all of this. I'll go back to my work folder, robot, FANUC. I'll paste it in here. And basically I'm going to add whatever was new on that project to my main folder with the FANUC stuff. This way I'll keep always the latest manual, I will always update more and more stuff. Of course, from time to time, it's good for you guys to get inside the folder of the manuals or whatever, rename the manuals or rename the software or whatever, to make sure you don't duplicate some stuff, because later on it is going to be a pain for you if you will have like 3 the same software manuals. Then you're going to just take up the space in your hard drive. I usually use remote external drives. I do not keep my stuff on the laptop except for the stuff that I'm using. So if I'm on a project that will use FANUC robots and let's say Volkswagen standard, the only thing I will keep on my laptop is going to be from the work stuff. In the standard, I will just keep the Volkswagen standard stuff. And in the robots, I'm going to use FANUC or KUKA or ABB, whatever else on my laptop to do not take too much space, to have stuff to save. Now the thing I told you about the backups. So when you go in here, when you will make your backups, you want to do it like this. Let's say you have 5 robots, like one station that you work on, and 5 robots. So let's say it's going to be body side outer. I'm doing the body in white stuff. Station, I don't know, like this, robot 1, and you will have 5 robots. So you want to have robot 2, you want to have robot 3 here, you want to have robot 4, you want to have robot 5 here, and in general what I would do is I would create a folder called body side outer, and I'll put all of those inside that folder. So then when I will have more stations in here, I will have many folders. Inside of this folder, I will have all of the robots. Now how I will make the backups, I will go in here and whatever backup I will have, I'm going to make a folder with the date. Let's do today's date. And in here, I'm going to put today's backup. This way, anytime I will do it. So I will, whenever I'm at the project, I will open it. I will go to my backups folder, and I want to check the backup from, let's say, I don't know, 10 days ago from the current station. So it's easy for me to go here and then go to the robot that I create, that I want to check, and I'm going to search through the date. Because if you don't follow this, let's say you follow the naming of the stations, and you will have the backup in here, 2021, let's say, I don't know, 06, 25, and you will have all of the robots listed in here. You will never know if did you make the backup of robot 4 on this date, or maybe you've made backup of robot 2 on this date. So you will have in here all of those robots, let's say like this, and then you will have many folders with that date in here, but you don't know what's inside this folder. You don't know which robots you've backed up on that day. So that's very inconvenient, guys. I don't use it. I would make the backups like this when I work, but after I'm done, I'm going just to take the backups that I need. So I had the backups made on that day. So I have robot 4, I will cut it. I will go to robot 4, I will create the folder with this name, with this date, I'm sorry, and I will paste it in here. This way I know that robot 4 latest backup was made on that date. So that folder structure, don't use it, guys. It's not convenient for a long time use. All right, that will be all from the exercises. Let me know down in the comments what file structure do you use, what do you like, what you don't like, so we know what's going on. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. Like always, guys, don't forget to leave your comments down below, give it a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!